guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm off on a date night with my husband, so I thought I'd film a get ready with me hair and makeup. And for those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Shonagh and I'm a professional makeup artist. I upload weekly makeup tutorials that include close-ups like this so you guys can really see how to achieve the looks that I'm showing you. So please hit subscribe if you are new to my channel. I've already prepped my base with skincare, so on top of my sunscreen I'm going in with this Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. Great if you are somebody that has slightly oily skin. This is going to allow your skin to become slightly tacky, which is going to help grip that foundation to your face. Also ideal if you have oily combination skin. I still want the skin to look like skin, but I want a nice medium coverage, so I'm going in with the HAUS Labs Triclone Skin Tech Medium Coverage Foundation. The shade I have is 175 Neutral, and I'm going to use my Rephr 31 brush to apply this. This is so soft. If you've never tried them, I highly recommend giving them a go. I'm going to work this into the palm of my hand, really get it into the bristles. I can really buff that into the skin then, starting in the centre of the face where the majority of the product will start from, and then buff that outwards. This really is a great all-round foundation, especially as there are 51 shades available. The shade range available in the deeper skin tones is phenomenal. It's infused with 20+ skincare ingredients, which you can definitely feel when you apply this foundation because it feels more like a serum texture. This is ever so slightly on the yellow side for me. Ordinarily I would apply one tiny dot of a red pigment into this to bring this up to sort of match the colour that I have on my body as we are at the end of the summer here in the UK. However, I don't like to showcase a shade and then having tweaked that shade because it then becomes harder for you guys to see how it looks on the skin. It is really best if you can go in store and try these shades for yourself. So I'm going to work with it today, and at the end it should all come together nicely. Once I've buffed that in over the face, neck and the ears if they're visible, using that brush, I like to go in with a damp beauty blender to make sure there are no visible brush strokes. This will also pick up any excess foundation if you've applied too much. I'm now just applying some 101 Lip Ointment by Lano Lips before moving on to the eyebrows. I have many dedicated brow tutorials up close, so if you would like to see those, I will link that playlist on screen for you now, but I'm just going to include a little bit here today. What I tend to do is after I've applied my foundation, I remove any excess foundation from my brows. Then I set them with a translucent powder. The one I'm using is by Laura Mercier. This makes sure there's no oils in the brows that are going to affect the pen. If the brows are slightly damp or there's an oiliness to them, then it really does affect the pen's performance. So after I've applied that powder, I then go back over them with the clean cotton bud just to remove any excess powder as well, because this in turn will also clog up the pen. So once I've done that, I then just go in and fill my brows in. Again, I have a dedicated tutorial for this natural finish, which I'll link on screen for you. I have used the Urban Decay brow blade for many years. I've tried so many alternative brands, but I keep coming back to this. The shade I love is Cool Cookie, and I just can't find anything that beats this colour and this pen's performance. To set the hairs in place, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Liquid Brow Freeze Gel. If you've never tried this, give it a go. It's fantastic. I promise you, if you love the original Brow Freeze, you'll definitely love this gel. I'm going to use two different concealers today. One is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer because this packs a punch with the coverage, and then I'm going to use the Makeup Forever HD Skin Concealer, which is a lot more undetectable, slightly more lightweight, just to add a little bit extra coverage where I need it. If you don't want to lose any of that concealer, use the pad of your finger to bounce this over the skin. Today I'm just using the damp beauty blender. I don't need to leave too much concealer behind. I just need a nice layer to add a little bit more coverage. You can also use a brush. It's whatever your preference is. What I love about using a damp beauty blender is that you have no seams to this. Obviously with a brush you're going to have a slight brush stroke seam. The damp beauty blender just helps give a complete gradient to whatever you're applying on top of your makeup. I want some more precision around the inner corner of the eye, so I'm using a brush in a stipple motion to blend this out. You'll find as you age, this area on the inner corner needs some brightening. We're going to keep the eye makeup very simple, so I'm going to take this Bobbi Brown Long Wear Cream Eyeshadow Stick in the shade Golden Pink. Starting at the lash line, we're going to work that backwards and forwards, going up to where the eye naturally creases, which is also known as the socket. You can take this slightly above the socket if you like. I'm just buffing it up to where my eye naturally sinks, and then I'm going to buff through the socket with my number 33 Rephr brush, another super soft brush. I love this, and it's tapered so it just sinks into the socket line, and then working backwards and forwards it does all the work for you. I love these stick eyeshadows by Bobbi Brown. The colours they do are phenomenal, and this one is beautiful because it's similar to my skin tone, but it adds this beautiful highlight and it's so simple to work with. I also like that it's not too thick because you can also use this on the inner corner of the eyes and on the tear duct. Some stick eyeshadows are too large. If you find that your eyeliner migrates, definitely check out this one by NYX. It's the Epic Wear Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner in dark brown. I'm going to use this as a base and then we're going to smoke this out very softly. So apply this in whichever way works for your eye shape. I can get away with a winged liner. If you can only create a baby wing, that's absolutely fine. Just adapt this to suit your eyes. You can also forego eyeliner completely. I have an ultimate makeup tip for you guys that have slightly smaller lids or hooded eyes to help give you the illusion of a eyeliner but without going on your top lid. So this is the base liner I've got. I'm now going to go in with this Magnetic Matte Eye Colour by Nude Sticks in the shade Hot Stone, which is a lighter brown than the eyeliner that we've applied. This is going to soften and lighten the appearance of the liner that we've got, but it's also going to create a really nice gradient, hence why we have the darker shade underneath. So trace this over the top and then use the No. 3 brush by Anastasia Beverly Hills or something similar that you can then work over the seam of this Nude Sticks cream eyeshadow and buff it upwards just a little bit. You can see how it goes from dark at the base of that eyeliner and then almost fades up into nothing, but we still have a nice defined wing, but it's just softening the very top, which is the important part. As we get to the centre, the darker eyeshadow that we've applied stops, so then we will just take this stone colour on its own and then work that on the very inner corner of the eye, close to the root of the eyelashes. Again, it creates that darker gradient from the outside towards the inside. I'm then running this through the root of my lower eyelashes. It doesn't matter if it gets on the waterline. We just want to make sure we get it between the root of the lashes, and then before it sets in place, I'm taking a small brush and then buffing over the top of this to smoke it out, but I'm not taking it too low. I'm then going to take a kohl pencil. This one is an eye pencil by MAC in the shade Coffee, but you can also use Costa Riche. If you have smaller lids, you can feel free to apply a cream eyeshadow in this area. I'm using my No. 20 Rephr eyelash curler, but they also do a size 18, which is made for smaller eyes with slightly different curvature. So if generic lash curlers don't usually work for your eye shape, give the No. 18 a try. If you are new around here, my favourite mascara is the Lancome Lash Idole. If you're going out on a date night, the last thing you want is to have smudgy panda eyes. This is a fantastic mascara. It stays in place all day, but they also have a waterproof version. I never have flaking, smudging or transfer with the original, but on my wedding day, of course, I reached for the waterproof just in case. I am going to be applying some individual clusters for this look, but I'm going to show you how it looks when I've finished my face makeup just with the mascara so you guys can see what it looks like before I apply false eyelashes. I decided once I zoomed out that I needed a tiny bit of bronzer just through the socket of my eye. I'm going to use my BK Beauty 202 brush just to buff this through. I love this blending brush, it's fantastic. I also use it for concealer sometimes because it's so fluffy and it's slightly tapered. Hopefully you can see that that matte bronzer through the socket just adds a tiny amount of warmth. I know I've reached for this in the last couple of tutorials, but I really am loving this on a daily basis. This is the Nude Sticks Stacks in the shade Sunstone, and I'm going to buff this into the skin using my BK Beauty 106 foundation brush. As you can see, with Nude Sticks and BK Beauty, I have discount codes for you guys. If you want to try them, I will link them all down in the description bar for you. I'm taking Sunstone around the hairline, down the cheekbones, a little bit on either side of my nose, and anywhere that the sun would naturally hit, because this is going to be like a soft sculpt. So think of it as bronzer and contour in one, using a very soft, subtle approach. So as you can see, you can't really see where it starts and finishes, but I am going to add a little bit of lightness around the jaw and a little through the centre of the face. I just felt like I needed a little bit more of a lift, and I'm reaching for my HD Skin Concealer by Makeup Forever, which we used at the beginning. Switching between buffing that in with my brush and blending out the seams with my beauty blender. Before I do my blush, I'm going to do my lips. I'm going to line them very naturally using my Lancome Lip Idole Lip Shaper in 21 shade Throw In Beige. It's very peachy, which I love. It does have a subtle pink undertones. It's very much like the colour of your lips. I don't like anything that defines my lips too much because I just don't have the lips for that. It just gives me a funny shape. So I tend to use colours that are similar to my skin tone. And then I'm going to top that with my Melting Lip Balm in the shade Undone by Iconic London, which again is very peachy. I also love how glossy this is. I did take a little bit of a hiatus on using this just because I kept reaching for it, and I'm sure you guys would have been bored of seeing it, but it's been a long time, so I've decided to reach for the Nude Sticks Nudies Bloom in the shade Sweet Peach Peony, which you know is an absolute favourite of mine. I do like to repeatedly use some of the same products because I know once you guys have purchased it, if I then go on to use another ton of different products that you guys don't have, you then can't really recreate what I'm doing. So hopefully you find it useful when I do use some of the same products. I waited for my mascara to dry and just gave my lashes an extra curl, so it gives them a bit of extra lift. I'm then going to set the centre of my face with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder. I adore this. I've been going through so many of them, but thank God they do a refill system, which is slightly cheaper than buying the full compact. If you are very oily, you might want something that's a little bit more heavy duty. The Laura Mercier Translucent Powder or Huda Beauty Easy Bake is fantastic at keeping oils at bay. It's just a little bit more powdery than I personally like. So this is a quick look at how my makeup looks with just mascara before I move on to applying some individual clusters. I'm applying about maybe 7 or 8 across the entire length of the eye, keeping the longer ones at the outer corner and then getting slightly smaller just on the inner third. If you search for Dovetail lashes, I will link some affordable ones in the description bar. They honestly do not need to be expensive. They're also known as fishtail lashes, but just a few of these across the eye will really give you a beautiful, sultry, fluttery finish without overtaking the eye, without disguising the eyeshadow that you've applied. They just really enhance your overall eye makeup. They give this really feminine finish. I will of course zoom in a minute, but you can see I've done around maybe 8 or 9 on this eye, and I will zoom in so you can see they're so pretty. You can still see the eyeshadow behind them. It doesn't overtake the liner that we've applied or the smokiness. They just really enhance the eye makeup. I love these, and again they're super affordable. So I will link everything I've used in the description bar. I'm now going to move on to hair, and this is so quick, so brace yourself. It's nothing mind-blowing. You can do this on any sort of hair, whether it's been freshly washed, whether it needs a wash. If it is slightly oily, just pop a bit of dry shampoo in at the roots. But this is great if you are needing something quick. So I'm just going to part my fringe at the front, if you can call it a fringe, it's down by my chin, and the hair just in front of my ears. You don't need to be too neat about this. The trick here is to pick up the longest length and give it a shake. This part I'm taking backwards. I just want the smaller lengths of hair, and because I have layers, this is easier for me to pick up the longest part, give it a shake, and whatever's kind of remaining behind is what I'm going to create some shape with around the front. I just don't want anything to be too long. I want it to be kind of wispy. Taking the remainder of the hair, we're going to create a bun quite low down. Don't put it right on the nape of your neck. Place it about 1.5 inches upwards. Rotate your ponytail while simultaneously looping it up and over to create a bun. You can leave some of your ends out or you can tuck them in, it's completely up to you. Then before you secure this in place, take your forefinger and thumb and gently lift a few sections of the root of your hair at the crown to create some lift and texture. Then you want to take a few hairpins to secure your bun in place. I have a lot of hair, and believe it or not, I only use 3 pins. I use 1 on each side and 1 at the very top. Now I'm taking my GHD soft curl tong. You can use any tong that you like. I will link this one below because it is a firm favourite of mine. Then I'm going to wrap these tiny wispy sections of hair around the barrel away from my face. I'm not going to open the barrel for these parts because this hair is quite delicate. The front hair tends to be a lot more fragile, so you don't want to apply a ton of heat to it. So just wrap it around the entire barrel and only do it for a few seconds. This is going to just create some volume, shape, and a bit of direction to your hair, because that's all you're going to need, because this will drop slightly, which I think looks better as the day goes on. This part of my fringe tends to lay quite flat, so I'm just over directing it slightly because it will lift it a little bit more at the root. Also, don't forget to apply some heat protectant, which I did, I just didn't show you guys. And that is it. I put my blazer on and I'm ready to go out for date night. I will link this blazer below. This was actually a recommendation from Laura Bradshaw because she uses this blazer all the time and styles it so well. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to get my hands on it. And that completes my date night makeup and hair tutorial, this very quick get ready with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I will do my best to come back to you. If you've got any tutorial requests, also leave them there. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you're new to my channel and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!